Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Primetime Sports Talk. I'm the Deacon David Schiele. Sitting alongside me is my good buddy Rashad Milligan. It was the home opener for the women's basketball team here at Georgia State, and they come away with a they put the whooping on Allen University. Final score 96-58. Georgia State goes to 2-1 on the year. And Rashad, I want to get your first impressions on tonight's game.
First impressions, this team is much different than the team that we saw last year. They just have the starting lineup in itself was different. I mean, how many new players did you have in that starting lineup? Can you give a specific?
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we had a new starting five today, a brand new starting five. I mean, I think it was Newbie and then Ponder and
right.
So no Ponder. Ponder's not even on the roster right now for reasons that I really don't know. But of course, we figure out later. We'll let you guys know. But Newbie did not start. It was Tiffany Holston, Kanisha Nichols, Jalen Harrison, Jada Lewis, and Tatiana Jackson.
I don't even think Kanisha started last year.
No.
And she's a junior, right? She's about a junior or senior, and she didn't even start last year. So, I mean, an entirely new, different starting lineup. Tatiana, I believe, she might have started some games last year if she wasn't redshirted and sitting out because she transferred.
She started some games.
She started some games?
Yeah.
So Tatiana Jackson's the only returning starter from tonight. And it was just different. Very different to see the new team. And Tiffany Holston, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about her a little later. Yeah. She really stepped up big. I really like Jada Lewis, man, because even though it doesn't show up that much on the stat sheet, 15 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals on the stat sheet, I really like the energy she brings just defensively. She really loves the game. She's just like exactly the equivalent. If you watch the men play this year, she's like the women's DeMarcus Simons. You know, the excited freshman who was very, very good in high school, highly ranked and highly thought of throughout the nation in high school, came to Georgia State and just excited to play college basketball. We really need that because I felt like last season we lacked a lot of just emotion and care. It was a lot of players that didn't care on the team last year. Unfortunately, a lot of those players got kicked off because they didn't care about the rules, and therefore they got kicked off because they broke the rules. And I remember the one time when we saw some players after the game, they were smiling and they just lost badly at home. And it's just care.
It was the attitude.
Exactly.
I think the attitude, when they realized that they weren't going to have a good season,
right.
I think the care just kind of went away. And, you know, we don't really like to see that because it's our job to be at these games and analyze them and take them seriously.
Right.
So we want the players to obviously take the game seriously. I mean, basketball is such an emotional game for so many people.
Right.
So when you go out and get blown out by 40, you're not supposed to be happy, right? So, but like you said, new energy to this. I saw that in warm-ups. I said, this is kind of a new team. This is kind of a new type of feel. And with the new starting five, I said, wow, fresh faces.
Right.
And they really came out and they impressed me tonight. I mean, like I said, they beat a team 96-58. 96 points from the Lady Panthers tonight, and 66 of those were in the paint.
Yeah, 66 were in the paint. I mean, they were playing a team that was clearly undersized compared to them. So, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. I don't want to hype this up too much because they have scored over 90 points last year. I remember I did a couple shows with Joey where they scored over 90 points. They scored over 100 points, and they still lost the game. So I don't think putting up points has ever been a problem, especially when you have size like we do. We have Elijah Mitchell and Haley Guerin and now Tiffany Holston, and then also Talia Williams, the senior coming back off the bench. So we have the size. We're going to have the size advantage most nights. So getting points down low isn't going to be the problem. Shooting is going to be the problem. When you don't have outside shooting and mid-range shooting, we'll get to that, I assume, later. But, yeah, I think that's the problem. I'm not that impressed with 96 points tonight and 66 points in the paint. You did what you're supposed to do.
That makes sense. I mean, and that's a good point because we were talking before we started doing the show, and we were saying how Georgia State had 66 points in the paint. We were even talking to our mentor, Sam Grimshaw, and saying that they could have had easily over 70 points in the paint, maybe 80 points in the paint, because there were a lot of missed layups tonight by the Lady Panthers. And one thing that I really want Georgia State to start doing is making these high percentage shots. And they could blow everybody. Well, not blow everybody out, but they can put up points. The Sun Belt is still very, very difficult to win.
Well, I mean, it's a little more easier now that Algeria Gamble is gone.
Now that Gamble is gone, it's
this
much easier. It's this much easier. But the thing is, Georgia State has to show me something when it comes to making high percentage shots, because they didn't do it tonight. And it really hurts that Ponder can't play, because Ponder is the outside shooter.
Right.
Okay, I mean, we saw Newbie open for three, but Newbie's not going to take the shot. Her first thought is pass.
Right.
She's a pass-first player. She's not going to look, I have an open shot, let me take it.
Right.
Right? With Jada Lewis, she'll take the three sometimes.
Definitely.
But we saw a lot of
Stasia Titer, another player who
a lot
wasn't
of
here
extra.
today.
And Stasia Titer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She's not playing either. So outside shooters aren't there. And everybody's thinking about, okay, let's make the extra pass. Let's make the extra pass inside. Let's go back inside. And you're right. That's why you end up with 66 points in the paint.
I just wish we could have a consistent roster on this team, because it's highly unfortunate that it's not just injuries. You're playing another game of just inside program. What's the exact word I'm looking for? Like when inside the program. Well, you
Troubles?
Get what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Internal.
And
you have internal program suspensions on top of internal program injuries that every program has. So when you can't get a consistent, steady chemistry thing going, that was a huge problem last year. Would you agree with that?
It was chemistry, yeah.
Exactly. It wasn't talent. It wasn't talent at all.
This is a very talented basketball team.
It's a very talented squad. But they had another losing record, because they couldn't stay together long enough to build that chemistry and know one another. Even though they spend a lot of time off the court with each other, they're always, I could just tell you as a student, I always see them around the loft together, laughing together. They go hang out together and all that. But on the court, they can't stay steady. And it's unfortunate, because they're such a talented team. And when you're heavy, when the people on the post, when the post players are the ones that never get in trouble and they have good grades, and for the most part, they're not injured. You know, Haley Guerin started off last season with an injury.
Yeah, that's true.
And your shooters are the ones that are always in trouble, because I guess guards hang out with guards mostly and forwards hang out with forwards. Whatever the case is, the fact that you don't have your shooters season after season, it just makes it tough to build it when you are on the court. And that's why Makiba Ponder really couldn't get into a rhythm last season as a sophomore, after having an outstanding freshman season and almost setting the GSU record for threes in the year for women's basketball. So it just comes down to doing the right thing. And I know we're talking about on-the-court stuff, but the off-the-court troubles leak until on the court. So whatever you guys did, if it was violating team policies, which we believe it was, just do the right thing.
And the thing is, what we really hate to happen is that they have a game like this and then kind of disappear. You know, that'd be really unfortunate.
Right.
And the next game is at Sunday at 2 p.m. There's no more doubleheaders midweek. So, you know, a lot of times we used to go to the arena Thursday, see the women play, then the men play. They don't do that anymore. They only do those on Saturdays, but that doesn't start for a while. So the next women's game is this Sunday at 2 p.m. If you're a Falcons fans, it's a bye week, so can't watch the Falcons, might as well come to the sports arena and watch GSU women's basketball. And hopefully the women's basketball team is not playing opposite of what they are tonight, concerning your point about consistency. Right. But I see some positives in here, because there were 5 players in double figures tonight.
Right.
I mean, I find that very encouraging, especially when 2 of those, I think actually 3 of those, were not even starters. Haley Guerin, Madison Newby, and Alasia Mitchell. And even when you get minutes from Madison Newby still played 22 minutes. I mean, it's kind of obvious she's my favorite player, right? Coming from last year with 145 assists, leading the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year. But she didn't start tonight, which is kind of upsetting. But 5 players in double figures, everybody's getting minutes. I don't see too many bad things, but they're going to have to be consistent. You were right about that. I think that the star player this year is not going to be Madison Newby, unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
I think it might be the person that had a double-double tonight with 16 points and 10 rebounds by the name of Tiffany Holston, the graduate transfer.
Fresh face.
Yeah.
Fresh faces, new places. I mean, Tiffany Holston, it'll definitely be exciting to see what she brings to the table. I mean, if she's going to be a walk-in guaranteed double-double, and you have on top Alasia Mitchell, who's still a walk-in guarantee. Don't think I forgot about you, Alasia. You still my girl, Cobb County, still walking double-double.
Did she have one tonight?
I'm saying
she was close.
She just missed it.
She
15
was close.
points, 9 rebounds. But I mean, when you have that, like I said, down low post players is not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
The issue is going to come out on the outside when you need someone to shoot, because every team, you're not going to be bigger than even though I said that earlier, you're not going to be bigger than every team. Mm-hmm. So what do you do when the post game isn't going on? You got to kick it out and you're wide open. I've seen you talked about a lot of missing high percentage shots. From the few outside shots, outside the arc shots, beyond the arc shots that I saw in the second half, I mean, just didn't look good. And that's because when you don't have the people that are supposed to be the shooters, Morgan Jackson's graduated, but Makiba Ponder and the Stacia Titers both good. I mean, it's unfortunate that That's
an element that the team needs back.
Exactly. When we can see such a talented team, not have, as you mentioned earlier, there are no more doubleheaders until February and on Saturdays, January and Februarys. So this team honestly needs as many butts as they can get in the seats. So when you don't have the doubleheaders to get the butts in the seats guaranteed because they're waiting for the men to come and they want a good seat before that starts, and you don't put the best product that you can put on the floor out there, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult some nights sitting in the empty sports arena. And I know I don't want to do that personally, as my personal take as a media person. I want to see some support. So,
I mean, they can pack them seats out. They really can. I mean, this is a really good team. And they're really nice people. Like, they're kind of popular on campus. They got a lot of friends.
Definitely.
They got a lot of friends. I mean, they really deserve you guys' support. I mean, if you're a student at Georgia State, you have free admittance to these games.
Right.
I mean, I think they're general admittance anyway. But
all the seats, I'm not sure.
Well,
just as a media member, but I would assume.
I would assume that they are. Usually, when we see that, I mean, it's for a student. It's really not that difficult to get a ticket. You really want to see this team because they're really, really talented. I mean, 96 points should be like, oh, okay. I mean, I hope it piques your interest to saying, okay, I think I want to go see what these ladies are about. And once they get Ponder back and once they get Titer back, I really believe that this team's going to get a whole nother element and they can start shooting from three because they only attempted 11 threes tonight.
Right.
And the only reason they did so is just, I mean, they were up by 40. So.
Well, they also just didn't have people out there that could shoot.
Yeah, that too.
I mean,
they only attempted 11. That's what I'm saying.
Right. But if you only attempt 11, don't you think it's because they're just scared to shoot threes because they know that's not their strong point?
No, yeah, because I made that point about Newbie not shooting that. I mean, she had a couple of open looks. She just didn't do it.
Right.
She can shoot a three. She made a couple of threes in warm-ups. Actually, she looked pretty good.
Right. I mean,
they just don't do that.
Right.
That's my point.
The team as a whole? I mean, Makiba Ponder puts up a lot of threes.
But she wasn't here.
Right, exactly.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
That's the point going back to the original point. We need all of our players because there's going to be some nights where, as you said, we're missing the layups and the post players are just going to be struggling. And we're going to need some shooting so that the defense can stop focusing on Alasia Mitchell on one block and Haley Guerin on the other block. But I have an interesting question for you, David.
Yeah.
Do you think, just hypothetically, just thinking hypothetically and everything, do you think that possibly this starting five tonight was a statement by Sharon Baldwin-Tenner saying like a boycott of how the players were playing in practice? Because it's not just Madison Newby that came off the bench just a usual starter. It was KK Williams, Alasia Mitchell, and Haley Guerin. All four veterans that were in the starting lineup pretty much all season last year when they were healthy.
I think Coach is going to start whoever the best five she's seen in practice.
Right.
Simple. Right? I mean, you got to play the hot hand kind of thing. So if you are working your butt off in practice, you're studying the film, you're doing what you need to do in the weight room, you're doing everything, you basically dotted your I's, crossed your T's, right? You're going to start. I mean, that's if I was a coach, that's my mentality. You've done what you need to do in practice. I really like what you've done. You know what? I'm going to start you.
I think it might have been like a little wake-up call to the usual starters. I mean,
if it's a wake-up call, cool.
This is all hypothetical, I don't know.
But I think what the starting five did tonight was just fine.
Right.
I think it was a good starting five.
Right.
I just feel like, I don't know if it was like a message. I mean, Coach Hunter for the men's team was saying, I told the starting five, they're never going to start again.
Play again.
Yeah, but then they ended up starting the next game.
Except for Simons, because Ben Levy was healthy again.
But I think that if these five ladies earned it, which to me it looked like they did, then they earned it.
Right.
So I think it's Madison and Alasia and Haley, it's their job to win back.
So you're saying you don't think that tonight Madison Newby came out and played better than Jalen Harrison, the freshman?
Well, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that up until this game.
Right.
Coach BT saw what they were doing in practice, starting 5.
Right.
She saw what they were doing in practice. She said, I like this unit. They're hungry, so she let them play. She made them the starters. I'm not saying anybody outperformed anybody. I'm saying in practice leading up, this is who she said worked their butts off and deserves the minutes. That's what happened.
So you think a little early season shakeup, just a...
Yeah, and if that gets Madison and Alasia and all of them to wake up, then guess what? The whole team's going to, yeah, exactly.
That's a commendable move by Sharon Baldwin-Tinner. She could have kept going on with the...
If that's what she was doing.
If that's what she, hypothetically.
Props to Coach BT.
They could have injuries that we don't know about.
You know what's not hypothetical?
What?
These game balls, man.
Oh, yeah. Let's get to it.
These is real, okay? We've already got some men on here, okay? We've got DeMarcus Simons. And see, if I could come up with who is WC?
Willie Clayton.
Willie Clayton. Oh.
Your guy.
See? Yeah, the guy I just spoke to. Because I'm doing a feature on him coming out this Friday. I hope you guys watch that one. That guy is literally a friendly giant, man. I tell you. And you're going to really enjoy that. But women's team game ball. You know, I'm going to give this to you first, actually. Let me be nice.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Who deserves the game ball tonight, Rashad?
If we're talking about the first night, we discussed this a little bit earlier before we started recording. I mentioned Jada Lewis earlier. My little sister name is Jada. That's a personal shout out to my family. Love my family. Thanksgiving next week. I'm going to give the game ball to Jada Lewis, not because of the fact that she had a pretty nice stat sheet, 15 points, 5 assists, 3 steals, as I said earlier. But because the energy she brought, it was something refreshing, so refreshing. So Jada Lewis, congratulations.
Okay, so he's got Jada Lewis. I'm going to go with the obvious choice, double-double. Tiffany Holston's the guy that transferred, graduate transfer. No one really was talking about her too much from, the outside looking in. Right. No one was hyping her up. Everyone was talking about that Makiba Ponder was on she thinks she was like all Sun Belt, preseason. Madison Newby's coming off Sun Belt Freshman of the Year. And then Alasia Mitchell, she worked on her jump shot and things like that. Worked
Jada
on some
Lewis
post moves.
And Jalen Harrison were the two.
You did not hear about Tiffany Holston.
You didn't.
And Tiffany Holston came out of nowhere. I call what she did tonight reminded me a lot of Angel McCoughtry.
Okay, that's big shoes.
Yeah, but it was Angel McCoughtry-esque.
Because she can shoot?
Yes, she can.
She took 0 threes.
She can shoot and she can rebound.
She took 0 threes. Angel McCoughtry probably would have took 60.
You over here taking shots at Angel McCoughtry. I said Angel McCoughtry-esque.
Angel McCoughtry,
esque.
Right.
Don't forget the esque. So you have Jada Lewis. I've got Tiffany Holston. That's the first 2 game balls, that we've given out to the women's team. So first game balls have been handed out for the men and the women, and then the next time you can catch the women will be on Sunday at 2 p.m. at home. That is the next time. Like I said, the Falcons are playing, so if you're a Falcons fan, you live in Atlanta, so you should be, come to the Sports Arena. You got no excuse this time.
No excuse.
No excuse. So for Rashad Milligan, I'm the Deacon David Schiele. We'll see you guys next time.